Namaskar, hello and welcome to Sunset TV. I am Namrata Singh and you are watching Question Hour. This show focuses on important questions raised by members in both houses of parliament concerning matters of national interest. In the Rajya Sabha today, members from various parties posed questions related to 13 ministries and sought responses from the respective ministers. Similarly, in the Lok Sabha's Question Hour, members from diverse parties raised questions pertaining to 9 ministries and sought responses from the respective ministers. Now, let's take a look at some of the questions whose replies were tabled today. Lok Sabha member Rao Rajendra Singh asked the Minister of Culture whether the government has taken any steps to reconstruct, revamp or restore ancient knowledge centers and to revive ancient knowledge systems in the country, and if so, the details thereof. The ministry in its reply informed the House that it has undertaken several initiatives to revive and restore India's ancient knowledge systems and centers. These include Vedic Heritage Portal. Launched on March 27, 2023, the Vedic Heritage Portal is a significant project aimed at preserving and disseminating the rich heritage of the Vedas. The portal offers access to over 550 hours of audio-visual content, including more than 18,000 Vedic mantras. It features transcriptions of ancient texts such as the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedangas, Upvedas, and details of Vedic rituals in both audio-visual formats. This initiative ensures that traditional Vedic knowledge is accessible to scholars, practitioners, and the general public, thereby aiding in its preservation and propagation. Indian Knowledge Systems Initiative. In alignment with the National Education Policy 2020 established in October 2020, focuses on integrating traditional Indian knowledge into contemporary education. This includes incorporating subjects like Vedic mathematics, Ayurveda, yoga, and ancient Indian sciences into university curricula. Collaborations with institutions such as IITs have led to the introduction of courses and research programs that explores the therapeutic values of Indian music and other indigenous knowledge systems. Project Mausam is a multidisciplinary initiative that seeks to revive and strengthen ancient historical, maritime, cultural and economic ties among countries along the Indian Ocean. By documenting and celebrating shared knowledge systems and ideas that spread along these routes, the project aims to rekindle long-lost connections and promote new avenues of cooperation and exchange. Academic programs and research. Various academic programs, including post-graduation diploma courses that delve into India's arts, culture, and traditional knowledge systems, are offered. Through research, publications, and training, the emphasis is on a multidisciplinary approach to understanding and reviving ancient practices and philosophies. Rajya Sabha member Vaiko asked the Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs details of funds committed by central government for Chennai Metro Rail project and the funds sanctioned and released during the last 3 years, year-wise.
Chennai Metro has a long history. The proposal was originally sent to us in 2017, and then the proposal was for 107 kilometers of metro at a cost of about 85,000. The proposal in 2017 was returned to the government of Tamil Nadu in 2017 itself because it was not accompanied by all the details that are required to examine a proposal of this magnitude. Now, in 2018, sir, the government of Tamil Nadu decided to go ahead with this project on its own by treating it as a state sector project as against a center-state collaboration with external funding. So a state sector project. Thereafter, sir, several developments took place, and in the year January 2019, it was resubmitted to the center for 118.9 kilometers with a reduced cost. It had come down from 85,000 crores or so to 69,180 crores. By that time, sir, the benchmarking cost has been issued by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and we asked for certain revision in the cost. The government of Tamil Nadu finally submitted a proposal for a 118.9 kilometers length at a sanction cost of 63,246 crore as per a 50-50 joint venture equity function. This is what my friend, the Honorable Vaiko ji, is referring to. Sir, this project was approved, as per the information I have, in October 24, as he mentioned. It has been approved for the amount mentioned, 63,246 crores, out of which the central Government of India's contribution for equity and subordinate debt is rupees 7,424 crores. As far as I am aware, sir, no funds demand has been received from the Honorable Chief Minister for release of funds. As I said, we have already, out of the 7,000 that we owe, we have already released 5,000 crores. Over and above that, I'm not aware of any other letter having been received on this account. Today, we are in the situation that Government of India has released funds to the tune of 5,004.59 crores to Chennai Metro Rail Limited as a 50-50 joint venture of Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu. The breakup of funds released is equity 3,231.63 crores, subordinate debt 322.84 crores, and PTA about 1,450.12 crores. Now, further fund release, sir, according to my understanding, would be based on the execution of the project and the stage at which the project has been executed.
Lok Sabha member Dr. C.M. Ramesh asked the Minister of Education whether 35 schools in Anakapalli, Andhra Pradesh have been selected as PM School for Rising India under Phase 1. And if so, details of elementary, primary, secondary and senior secondary schools so selected out of the above 35 schools.
As per scheme, a total of 14,500 schools are given the recognition of PM Shri. They're recognized as exemplar schools, and this is to implement National Education Policy 2020. I can understand the concern raised by Honorable Member. He has said in Anakapalli there are 35 PM Shris that have been given the status. A number are also being reviewed. We will follow due process in the selection criteria because there's a challenge method that has to be fulfilled. Sir, to implement this scheme, a national school quality assessment framework is, and our ministry regularly looks at, reviews the status of implementation. Total of 35 PM Shri schools are there in Anakapalli, and 22 metrics as per NEP are regularly tracked. Honorable Ministers, Honorable MPs talked about physics lab, chemistry lab. I would like to inform him that 82% coverage is in this metric. And of course, if the state sends a proposal, a firm proposal, we will follow due process.
Rajya Sabha member Narhari Amin asked the Minister of Civil Aviation whether it is a fact that government has issued guidelines to cancel flights delayed by more than 3 hours, and if so, the details thereof. The number of domestic flights cancelled in the country due to delays during the last 3 years, the details of the major reasons for the cancellation of flights, and whether any specific scheme has been formulated to provide relief to air passengers due to inconvenience caused by flight cancellations, and if so, the details thereof. The ministry in its reply informed the House that in view of the fog-induced disruptions and adverse weather conditions at various airports causing delays, flight cancellations and inconvenience, airlines are now mandated to follow certain standard operating procedures during such a period. As part of the SOP, with a view to obviate congestion at the airport and mitigate passenger inconvenience, airlines have been advised to cancel such flights that are anticipated to be delayed beyond a period of 3 hours. The ministry, in its reply, further informed the House that 14,978 out of a total 11,21,736 flights were cancelled during 2024. These scheduled flights were generally cancelled for various reasons such as weather, technical, operational, commercial, etc. The House was further informed that Civil Aviation Requirement Section 3, Series M, Part 4 titled as Facilities to be provided to passengers by airlines due to denied boarding, cancellation of flights and delays in all flights had been issued to facilitate and reduce inconvenience caused to passengers as a result of the delay of the flights. As per the provisions specified in the aforementioned CAR, following facilities shall be offered to the affected passengers. Meals and refreshments in relation to waiting time to the passengers who have checked in on time and the airline expects a delay of 2 hours or more of its original announced scheduled time of departure or a revised time of departure. Flight delay up to 2 hours, drinking water. Between 2 to 4 hours, tea, coffee with snacks and refreshment. More than 4 hours, meals. Hotel accommodation including transfers in case there is an overnight delay. If the expected delay is more than 6 hours, airlines shall offer an option of either an alternate flight or full refund. Lok Sabha member Nalin Soren and Dr. Rajesh Mishra asked the Minister of Culture details of specific measures taken currently for protection and conservation of the archaeological sites of historical importance, whether any new policies or laws are being proposed by the government to strengthen the protection of various archaeological sites.
आज़ादी के पहले से 1871 में जब इसकी स्थापना हुई उससे तब से लेकर के अब तक निरंतर ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण स्थानों के संरक्षण के लिए, उनके रखरखाव के लिए आर्कियोलॉजिकल एक्सप्लोरेशंस एंड एक्सकेवेशंस के लिए निरंतर काम करता है। अभी देश में 3698 से इतनी साइट्स हैं जो एएसआई के अंतर्गत आती है और एएसआई लगातार ऐसी सारी ऐतिहासिक मूल्य की धरोहरों के संरक्षण के लिए निरंतर काम कर रहा है। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया इन 3698 धरोहरों के संरक्षण के साथ साथ में ऐसे संभावित स्थान जहां हमारे ऐतिहासिक या प्रागैतिहासिक महत्व के स्थानों को आइडेंटिफाई किया जा सकता है, खोजा जा सकता है, जिससे हमारे ऐतिहासिक विरासत और उसकी कंटिन्यूटी पर और अधिक प्रामाणिक रूप से बात की जा सके। ऐसे एक्सकेवेशंस एंड एक्सप्लोरेशंस निरंतर करता है। इसके साथ साथ में मॉन्यूमेंट्स, टेम्पल्स और बिल्डिंग्स का सर्वे करना, एपिग्राफिक रिसर्च करना, आर्कियोलॉजी की ट्रेनिंग प्रदान करना, ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट साइट्स पे म्यूजियम्स की स्थापना करना और उनके साथ साथ में वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज लिस्ट में साइट्स को इंक्लूड कराने के लिए डॉक्यूमेंट्स बना करके ऐसी साइट्स को बनाने के लिए, एनलिस्ट कराने के लिए, उनको एनक्रिप्ट कराने के लिए सारी व्यवस्थाओं को सुनिश्चित करना, इन सब विषयों पर निरंतर काम करते हैं। माननीय सदस्य ने जो प्रश्न किया है, निरंतर भारत सरकार के द्वारा उपलब्ध कराई गई राशि और बजटीय प्रावधान के अतिरिक्त वो एडॉप्ट हेरिटेज इस नीति के तहत भी प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप में भी हमारे ऐसे सारे ऐतिहासिक महत्व की धरोहरों के संरक्षण के लिए आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया के माध्यम से भारत सरकार काम करती है। और इसके साथ साथ में राज्य सरकारें भी अपने अपने यहाँ पर जो चिन्हित धरोहरें हैं, जो स्टेट आर्कियोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट की लिस्ट में आती हैं, उन सब के संरक्षण के लिए राज्य सरकारें अपने स्तर पर प्रयास करती हैं।
Rajya Sabha member Neeraj Shekhar asked the Minister of Jal Shakti whether government proposes to set up research and development under Ministry for eradication or permanent solution for arsenic contamination in groundwater, and details of funds allocated for eradication of arsenic contamination in groundwater for financial year 2025-26.
जल जीवन मिशन के अंतर्गत जो आर्सेनिक वाटर अभी कोई भी घर में नहीं दिया जाता है, पूरे देश को उसमें से मुक्त किया गया है। जहाँ पर ग्राउंड वाटर में आर्सेनिक मिलता है वहाँ पर नल से जल को प्राधान्य देते हुए इसी योजना के द्वारा उनके घर में पानी दिया जाता है। और इसके लिए अगर ज़्यादा भी खर्च करना पड़ता है तो 10% ज़्यादा खर्च करके भी उनको, अगर वो दूर से पानी लाना पड़ता है तो वो भी दिया जाता है। साथ में उसकी क्वालिटी को मेंटेन करने के लिए या उसके ऊपर नज़र रखने के लिए भी 2% एक्स्ट्रा अमाउंट उसके लिए हमने उसका रखा गया है कि किसी के भी शरीर में आर्सेनिक पानी नहीं जाना चाहिए। ये जो 2019 में करीब 16% 8 ग्रामीण घरों में ही पानी दिया जाता था। जल जीवन मिशन के अंतर्गत अभी करीब 80% से भी ज़्यादा घरों में पानी दिया जा रहा है। और उसके कारण जो WHO का रिपोर्ट भी ये कहता है कि बहुत से फ़ायदे हुए, करीब 4 लाख मौतों को इसमें से बचाया गया है। यूनिसेफ भी जो कहता है कि उसके अंदर करीब जो लोगों को दवा लेनी पड़ती थी, इंजेक्शन लेने पड़ते थे, मानव शरीर में जो वर्जित है ऐसी दवाएं भी उसके शरीर में जाती थी। उसके कारण जो लोगों के पैसे खर्च होते थे सरकार को छोड़कर, वो भी करीब 8.4 लाख करोड़ का खर्चा होता था, वो भी पैसा उसके अंदर ये बचाया गया है। जो महिला है, जब महिला की बात करते हैं, अभी महिला दिन हमने मनाया है, तो महिलाओं के बारे में अगर कहा जाए तो जो 5.5 करोड़ घंटे रोज के जो पानी लेने के लिए दूर तक जाती थी और पानी का बोझ उठाकर लाती थी, आज उसमें से उनको मुक्ति मिली है। और ये 5.5 करोड़ रोज के घंटे ये महिला अपने बच्चों के लिए, अपने घर के लिए, अपने आर्थिक उपार्जन के लिए उसके अंदर वो खर्च पा रही है। तो महिलाओं के लिए भी काम हुआ है, बच्चों की जान भी इसके अंदर बचा पाई है, पैसे भी बचे हैं और लोगों को घर में अभी पानी और भी अच्छी क्वालिटी का पानी उपलब्ध है। ये पानी कैसे क्वालिटी का आ रहा है उसके लिए भी हर गांव में करीब 5 महिलाओं को ट्रेनिंग दी गई है। ट्रेनिंग के साथ उसको किट भी दी गई है। उसके आधार पर ये महिलाएं करीब 25 लाख महिलाओं को इसकी ट्रेनिंग इस देश में देगी। पूरे वर्ल्ड में कोई एक ऐसा देश होगा कि उसके गांव में, उसके घर में आने वाला पानी किस क्वालिटी का है, वो पीने लायक है कि नहीं, वो अगर चेक करने वाले महिलाओं को ट्रेन किया दिया है तो सिर्फ भारत में है, वो भी मोदी साहब के समय में ही हो पाया है।
Rajya Sabha member Babu Ram Nishad asked the Minister of Civil Aviation the specific measures being adopted by government to promote domestic manufacturing of aircraft components and the initiatives being taken to enhance skill development and workforce training in aerospace manufacturing.
Not just in terms of passenger traffic, but we want to see a holistic growth, and we want to see growth in manufacturing. And one of the prime objectives when we talk about aircraft component manufacturing is to prepare, build, manufacture our own aircraft in the country, which is the RTA. And many things have processed so that we achieve this regional transport aircraft manufacturing in the country, sir. And there are many different approaches for this. And one theme that we are having right now is a short-term approach, medium-term, and a long-term approach, because it is not a one-line approach for us to make an aircraft in the country. If you take an example of other countries, how they have done it, it has been a process which has been built up for 40 years and 50 years. Though we don't want to see it taking up that much time, we want to have a strict plan. And how do we ensure to do it, sir? One important thing is to improve the aircraft component manufacturing in the country itself. That is one of the short-term plans that we have. And in the last 5 to 10 years, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, we have been able to create so much demand in the country that the big companies like Airbus, Boeing, Embraer, and let it be Safran or Lockheed Martin, Rolls-Royce, all these companies which are the major manufacturers of engines and aircraft outside the country, they have set up their shop here. Let it be in terms of procurement of the key components, or increasing the number of components that they procure from India, or setting up MRO facilities in the country. So we have done a lot to invite them into the country itself and set up shop, which has increased the know-how and the technical expertise of the country itself. And the second process is, sir, to bring in all the necessary policies. And for that, if you look at the Bharatiya Vayuyan Adhiniyam, which we have also passed, in that I have also specifically told this House that now we are no longer are looking at India as only a player which is trying to buy things from outside, but we are seeing India as a country which is state of design, state of manufacture, and state of maintenance when it comes to aircraft. So we have changed the thought process that we have when it comes to manufacturing of aircraft. We are saying that India is at the stage right now where we can manufacture, we can design, and we can maintain an aircraft. And on top of that, sir, the necessary policies that we need. One is to promote more aircraft component manufacturing. We from the ministry are continuously engaging with the industry, and we are continuously engaging so that we can give them the confidence that the focus for the government is also on you to improve the manufacturing sector. We are talking with the states and telling them to have more manufacturing because they are the key players here, the state governments, and when they are looking at manufacturing, sir, we are encouraging them to look at manufacturing in aerospace components and aircraft components also, and we have yielded some good results in that area. And the third sector that we are planning is the skilling. Skilling is equally important as we are trying to increase our manufacturing also, and for that we have set up FTOs. We currently have 58 working FTOs, and we are doing AME training in 57 bases in the country, and through which we are creating 3,800 AMEs every year, which is catering to the demand that we have created.
Lok Sabha member Asaduddin Owaisi asked the Minister of Culture whether the ministry, its attached officers and autonomous bodies or organizations under it, particularly ASI, are facing a shortfall of manpower against their respective sanctioned strengths.
माननीय सदस्य ने ओवरऑल मंत्रालय में शॉर्टेज ऑफ स्टाफ की बात की है। आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया के परिप्रेक्ष्य में यदि मैं बात करूं, जहां माननीय सदस्य ने प्रश्न किया, 8,755 टोटल हमारे यहाँ सैंक्शन स्ट्रेंथ है, और यह सही है कि वर्तमान में 4,845 कर्मचारी उसमें विभिन्न स्तर पर कार्यरत हैं। लेकिन मंत्रालय के द्वारा और विभाग के द्वारा यूपीएससी और एसएससी को जिन पदों पे भर्ती के लिए ऑलरेडी रिकमेंडेशन भेजी जा चुकी है और जिनकी भर्ती एसएससी और यूपीएससी के लेवल पर प्रक्रियाधीन है, वो संख्या 3,203 है, और इसके अतिरिक्त 317 पद पेंशन के माध्यम से जो भरे जाने हैं उनकी प्रक्रिया भी विभाग में चल रही है। इसके अतिरिक्त लगभग 300 के आसपास ऐसे पद होते हैं जिनको एसएससी और यूपीएससी को संसूचित करने की प्रक्रिया अभी चल रही है। तो कुल मिलाकर के जो 8,755 पद हैं, उनमें से 8,000 से 500 से ज्यादा पदों पे या तो भर्ती है या उनको भर्ती करना प्रक्रियाधीन है। और मैं माननीय सदस्य के ने जो प्रश्न किया है कि कंजर्वेशन ब्रांच को लेकर के जो उन्होंने प्रश्न किया है, उसमें भी 831 पदों में से 270 पद फील्ड है, 561 वैकेंसीज के अगेंस्ट में 490 वैकेंसीज ऑलरेडी जो है यूपीएससी और एसएससी पे विचाराधीन है। और ये प्रक्रिया पूरी होने के बाद में, क्योंकि मोदी सरकार ईमानदारी के साथ, ट्रांसपेरेंसी के साथ में ये भर्ती प्रक्रिया सुनिश्चित कराने को प्राथमिकता देती है, ये भर्ती प्रक्रिया पूरी होने के साथ ही शीघ्र ये पदों पर नियुक्ति हो जाएगी। माननीय सदस्य ने दूसरी चिंता व्यक्त करते हुए कहा है, ये मैं सदस्य के संज्ञान के लिए निवेदन करना चाहता हूँ, जो अधिकांश पद खाली हैं 3,200 के, उसमें अधिकांश पद एमटीएस के खाली हैं, और एमटीएस पोजीशन पर इस तरह का काम इम्पैक्ट न हो, उसको लेकर के हमने कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल लेबर जो है उसमें अपॉइंट किए हुए है। जहाँ तक ताजमहल के रखरखाव का विषय है, मैं सदस्य और माननीय सदन के संज्ञान में लाने के लिए निवेदन करना चाहता हूँ। ये सही है कि उसमें वाटर लीक का एक इंसिडेंस ऐसा ऑब्जर्व हुआ था, लेकिन लगातार बरसात होने के कारण जो परिस्थिति हुई और उसको लेकर के तुरंत जो है उसको अमेंड किया गया है। भारत सरकार पूरी तरह से संवेदनशील है, पूरी तरह से जवाबदारी के साथ में अपने ऐतिहासिक धरोहरों के संरक्षण के लिए काम कर रही है। मैं सदन को और राष्ट्र को सुनिश्चित कराने को पूरी जिम्मेदारी के साथ में कहना चाहता हूं कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हम विरासत का सम्मान करते हुए, संरक्षण करते हुए विकास करने के लिए प्रतिबद्धता के साथ में काम कर रहे हैं।
Well, that is all I have for you in this edition of Question Hour. Stay tuned and thank you for watching Sunset TV.